Hello YouTubers and welcome to the beginning of a new week. We've reached another Suit Monday because remember, look good, feel good, roll good or enter any activity in the third. We're beginning this week off right with one of my favourite suits, and we've got much better water than Saturday where the wind was kicking up big waves, so we're much more likely not to fall in today. Absolutely fantastic. But we're here, we've rigged up the boats, we're going to get inside, get changed, get ready to get on the water, and then get on the water. So let's get to it. And we've made it outside of the British Rowing Team Training Centre for another day. Lovely short paddle, as you could tell. We're doing a little bit of pace. Again, just getting used to the water and getting used to the pace and numbers we want to see when we're doing the 2x2k tomorrow, which I'll talk about a little bit later. But now, as always, after a session, it's time to fuel up, because remember, food is fuel. Yam! And we've made it outside of the club once again to finish off the video with Edward. So this morning we had a 500, or I had a 500. You're on a different training program because we're not doing trials.
Exactly.
And again, doing things like that, a little bit of prep just to see the numbers and see the rates, the intensities that you want to do for the actual event or the race pieces that you have coming up. But felt good this morning, and it's only now a matter of time before we go and do the 2x2k tomorrow. So that's 2k, so it's a time trial format, 2k down the course. We've got a minute and a half to spin, and then 2k up the course, and then overall time wins.
Nothing.
Wins the bragging rights. But here at the club, what's going on?
We're basically just sort of winding down, well, not really winding down, but we're in our last week of training, full training before Turkey Skulls.
Oh yes.
Which is like a little fun regatta that we do at the end of the year, and then going home for winter. For winter, not like a
for Christmas break.
Yes, exactly.
And so, but it's like winding down in intensity, not so much like, oh, we're not doing any training anymore, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So once we're done with the trials, I'm not really sure. We'll be building back up into that as well, but probably have a little bit of rest on Tuesday night, Wednesday, instead of going straight into the program. And the program itself, we've got stuff from now until we come back, and we're back in early January.
Monday the 5th.
Monday?
If that's the 5th.
Monday.
The something. The first
After
Monday.
In January, one of those Mondays, back here at the club, team training, and then working on. So what's the over winter break? Over any break, what would you kind of look at doing, or to keep yourself from not doing any training? No. Yes. No.
I wouldn't.
Keep yourself doing.
I
training.
wouldn't call it the winter break. In a more just a winter away from the club, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it is obviously a break from the club, but if you have a break from training, then that's not ideal.
Yeah. And it's like some people, it's like especially prevalent in summer training, when people really just go off. But it's like finding motivation to do training by yourself. Some people are really lucky, like me at home. My sister, she's quite keen to do
Training.
activities, to do the training, so I can go train with her. And it doesn't necessarily have to be rowing training, but like getting out there, getting the heart rate raised for a while is always good, and having that bit of variation can really help with the motivation. But like Ed was saying, if you're like describing it as a break, you already have like that mental image, that mental picture of stop, having a rest, which you can have a rest and still train, and being away from your normal environment can really give you that mental recuperation time, even though you're still doing, you could be doing 2 sessions a day. But that's kind of what we'll be looking at over the winter time away, kind of looking at not doing the same volume and same intensity, but it's still reasonably high intensity and something every day.
Yeah, there's definitely something every day. My personal one is just taking an ergo home and doing it in the garage, which is very heroic, obviously.
It's like doing it like that as well. Making sure before you go home or go wherever you're going that you have access to
whatever it is
equipment.
You need to train, yeah.
And so that could be an erg, that could be a boat, it could be whatever sport you're in, treadmill, it could be a road and shoes.
A treadmill sport.
A treadmill sport. Maybe it's really cold at home and you don't want to go outside. If you need some skis, if you're going skiing, but making sure before you get there, because if you go home, and so if Ed went home, and now I need to go get an erg, or I need to go to the gym.
45 minutes to go somewhere. What?
You just faded off.
To go somewhere.
It's like that's 45 minutes. Oh, maybe I'll do that tomorrow, and then
yeah, it's very, very easy to do that.
Yeah, especially on Christmas break, not break.
Yes,
because the motivation to train, especially when you're full of turkey or whatever your choice Christmas meal is, can be lower for training.
I think one thing that I would definitely say is try and have a structure with it. Because things that I've done wrong in the past is just be like, oh, I can just do it later. And then by the time you're like, I will do it, but it'll be 7 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And
And
I'm like, I've got to do a 16k ergo now.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, it's dark. It's really cold outside. And I still have to like have the whatever garage door open and
got a stick.
But
like also you've spent all day being like, oh, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it later, do it later.
It should still be a priority.
Yeah.
Potentially.
And so like if you were to do it say in the morning, not necessarily really early, but like do it before you get other stuff done, that means you have the rest of the day to chill out and relax, or go do other Christmas break, not break things.
Just put it somewhere that you're definitely going to stick to doing it, rather than saying at some point I'll do it.
Yeah, and it's easier said than done, but it is definitely possible, especially if you get like if you do it once, it's more likely to happen again. So if you train that first day you're back, you're more likely to train again the next day. But if you don't, you're like, oh, I'll train tomorrow, and then you put it off to the night, and then all your sessions are at 9 at night, and you're like, then it doesn't really happen, and your motivation isn't really there for the whole break. And that's kind of, as you want to come back from the break invigorated, reinvigorated almost, if you weren't before.
But also, in decent nick, which is a
Yeah.
kind of a weird balance. You need to like have a break from the stress of day-to-day training, but still train day-to-day.
And which is a very fine balance.
Yes,
And obviously we are experts in the matter,
of course.
as we
With
are.
everything.
But as always, if you are struggling to, whether it's train over the Christmas break, not break, or whatever it is, speak to your coaches, speak to the people around you, your support network, or even let us know in the comments below, and we can sort of try and see if we can help, and see if your coaches could help, or your support network. But being prepared and having a plan, having a structure is probably the biggest things to do for now. But that will be it for today's episode, Yamsquad. We have the December trials tomorrow, so the 2x2k, excellent fun. So very different to the 2k on the rowing machine, where it's just one 2k. So we have double the distance. Yep, 2 times 2.
That is right, yeah, well, let me just check.
That is, and it's also like adding the minute and a half, adding the turn, doesn't mean it's like a 4k race. It's, I would say, a bit harder, because when you have that stop, like it's not like an hour break and you can go again.
It'd be easy to undercook it, and it would also be very easy to overcook it. I think that's probably a very hard test.
Yeah. It's an even more fine balance than keeping your motivation through the Christmas break, not break. But as always, Yamsquad, remember to subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that like button, and I'll see you tomorrow for the last part of December trials. Oh yeah.